Okay, try now.
So once again,
Sorry.
probably you've missed all the Adrian speech, right? Because of the so Adrian needs to repeat
I
the whole
just
thing.
said hello.
Okay, so Kickstarter. So everybody's been coming in and reporting that they've been receiving their package all over the world, but some of you haven't yet, and there are a couple of reasons why this could be happening. One of them is it's probably still on its way. Another one is something completely weird may have happened in post, or it may have been misdelivered and sent back to us, or three, it was just lost in the mail. It's most likely that it's still on its way to you because different countries have different customs rules and policies that can prevent it from coming on time. But if you give it about a week more, a week or two more, depending on where you are in the world, we can assume that it's lost and just send you a replacement for it. So that goes for anybody. If you have any damaged goodies or it's the wrong shirt size, wrong shirt color, any problems with your goodies at all, just contact us at backers@bfgames.biz and we can issue a replacement. We're still waiting on orders to come in for our replacements, like shirts and extra DVDs that we need to send out to you guys. So the replacements won't be issued for about another 1 or 2 weeks, but we'll let you know when they all go out. And this goes for also, we have a new large organized FAQ list on the forums for you guys to check out. So if you have any problems, you can check there first. It's just right in the, it's a global topic, so wherever you go in the Gianna Sisters location in the forums, you can see it right at the top there. And if your problem isn't in there and you have another problem for some reason, again, just contact us at the same email that we say every single time, and let us know what's going on.
I got it right. So it's all the posts, all the customs, or whatever screwed up, but not us. Everything was sent out. The office is clean of any boxes. So
Yeah.
every single delivery was shipped.
We're good.
We jumped straight into the console madness this year. So we want to bring out Gianna on X360, PS3, and Wii U. Apparently we got the dev kits now for all the consoles, including Wii U. That looks a bit alien. And the tech team, the core technology, and even level designers were involved into the final steps of polishing of the console's release. We have now X360 version and PS3 version running with a decent frame rate. Schmitty was, by the way, the first person in the whole world to play Gianna A to Z on the X360 device. Yeah, well done for Schmitty. And I would say Sarah would be the first person to play PlayStation 3 version, A to Z. Let's give it to her. And for Wii U, we would like to introduce Sweet Dreams mode and level designers. So it's a surprise for you. And level designers been busy with polishing this experience, Wheezy experience as we call it, and try to guess what it means. We also got some movement on other projects. We cannot talk about all of them because it's work for hire, but we have a healthy movement, and soon we'll be happy to roll out some other projects on the market, all with the trademark Black Forest Games charisma in heart. Finally, Ravensdale. You've probably seen the first screenshot published on Facebook. It's a sign that we have internally a small team that's working on the project already, and we'll bring out more news as it goes along. So stay tuned, follow the updates, and these are the major areas of where we work in. Mm-hmm. So console porting, some arcade projects for hire, and dreaming about Ravensdale. So
Is that it for news?
that was it.
Okay, so next, what we're going to do after our lovely news section, before we get to Schmitty and his questions and our discussion topic, is Nico and Vladimir are going to talk about a past project that we had called Blessed, right? So we have some stuff set up for you, so I'm just going to do a little switcheroo, and you guys can talk about it.
Hi, Nico.
Hi.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, it's been so long.
Uh, so what we want to talk about, after Arcania, we learned a thing or two about how RPGs meant to be done, and we will start thinking about the different settings and different areas that we can explore with the lesson that we've learned from Arcania and all the takeaway stuff. So I guess it was 2011 when we start thinking about the next RPG, like a successor. We would do it completely different because we wanted to stay free of IP limitations and want to tell something, some meaningful story. And as an evolution of that, we felt pretty strong about metamorphosis, blood, exploring the spiritual ways of vampire race. And yes, it was a vampire game and not about sparkling vampires. It was about kick-ass, badass vampires. So we spent a good year thinking about different possibilities, what we can do with an RPG, and we ended up with larger-than-life, epic scale proportions, field and charge with the super original ideas, open world RPG with some Metroidvania principles. So, and
it had a lot of there were a lot of ideas, especially concerning the use of blood and reshaping blood into different tools and utilities as the vamp. So taking the traditional approach to the vampire and expanding it in a way that takes its influence from things like over-the-top comic book movies like X-Men, for example, Wolverine with his claws and whatnot. So you were to be able to shape blood into weapons for yourself, and obviously you also take the blood from enemies and then use that blood to proceed through the level, not just as weapons but also as bridges and travel aids, basically. So that was a core concept. Was supposed to be the core concept.
So long story short, shortly before GDC 2012 in San Francisco, we realized that the core concept behind the blood, the action part of it, the action and the way you can use the blood for traversals, flying in the air, grinding the surfaces, is good enough and can stand on its own in a more compact and focused and sharp-shaped linear adventure. We were taken by the games like Devil May Cry, Enslaved, Batman, and we decided to use all the best ideas for the action and navigation we had for an RPG game and introduce a first game in this franchise to be an action game. An action game with a storytelling, with its own made-up mythology, deep and consistent with itself.
It was very, very thoroughly researched. We had a lot of mythology that people went through and dug through to find ideas, inspirations. There was a very complex web of interactions between ancient mysteries and so on and so on. So it was really, really deeply thought out, and
And Nico here was exactly in the middle and out of the storm, taking care of the game setting, game look and feel, and the game timeline. So what kind of a story, what kind of events, what order is scattered on the timeline.
High-level player experience, that was my
So what we want you to feel like when you play the game.
Yeah.
And I think one of the core pillar as a player experience was we wanted to go dark comic, badass, something on the lines of
Sin City was an influence, so you were supposed to feel like a super badass in a world that's already badass. So like everybody's already tougher and meaner than larger than life, and then you come along and you're even more of a badass, and you're supposed to be the supreme hunter, the supreme stalker, going around and just massacring people basically and drawing your blood. And it was also a story about an experience about betrayal. Was one of the core experiences, and then obviously the idea of a long journey, because you're a vampire. You've existed for millennia basically, and your journey was supposed to come to an end in that action game so that it could lead into more open world RPG where you can create your own hero and then start your own.
Yeah, that's right. So we pushed RPG into the sequels idea and wanted to kick off franchise with just this linear action game. And as you heard, the main character was something like a crossbreed between Marv of Sin City and Rorschach of Watchmen.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah, with all these vampiric powers. The heart of the game was the combat system, which was developed by David Zalman, by the way, who you probably know. And it was a rhythm-based combat with combat counter.
Yeah, counter moves. So if you've played the Batman games, that was a large inspiration. So basically, you can act, but the smart thing is actually to react, to counter enemy moves. You smoothly go from one enemy to the other and just knock them into each other or throw them away or whatever, and by using a counter system. So that was at the core of that. And David had a very, very neat system set up for that.
You probably can envision how the vampires move on the battlefield, so they just snap instantly from enemy to enemy. It's all choreographic beauty of actions, lots of context animations. We had a prototype running actually. It was pretty kick-ass, already showing some promise even with dummy animations.
Yeah.
And the idea was that you have one attack move, one counter move that still deals damage, and one evade move. So pretty much it's 3 buttons. And as long as you do the right thing, as you don't stay in the rhythm, enemy provide you with a certain pattern and telegraphing how they attack and when they attack. If you do the right thing, you counter when you need to counter, you attack when you need to attack, and you evade if you don't have any other option. As long as your action sequence is uninterrupted, you gain blood points, and at some point you can trigger your blood abilities, and then you can rip off the blood of your enemies and shape it in the air into some kick-ass weapon like scythes or
spears
whatever.
or claws. So basically the idea was, as you said, you build up a pool of blood as you go around, and as you fight, you would have this blood like fluidly shaping itself around you. We had the very, very awesome fluid dynamics in there. It looked very sweet. And then once you had enough, you could trigger this over-the-top shaping into something that then just devastates everything in front of you.
Damn it, we need to do Kickstarter. No, really, it was something. It was all pieces come together, the groovy combat, traversals, the way you experience mid-air when you're airborne, how you navigate as a mist of blood, the story itself, the mythology behind it. I advised our writer actually to do a book.
Yeah.
Because since we researched so many materials and invested so many good ideas into it, so he could have at least released it as a book. Because then you don't need assets to produce, you can just describe, and then there was an epic castle and everything starts to collapse and it's all in your imagination. Oh, we have a question?
There's a question right there.
Okay, which one?
Have you planned different classes with different types of attack? Melee, Starfleet.
I think for the RPG,
For the
we have
RPG, definitely, yes.
3 or 4 different schools of vampires. One specialize themselves in blood shaping abilities, another go into more brute force, and third one are like more stealthy. So for the RPG part, there were different blood schools, and you can specialize yourself in the way what you do with the blood. But for the action game, I think it was just we picked one school out of several RPG schools and decided to go with it for the action game and for RPG sequels.
Yeah, you still had there was still a system. There was supposed to be a system that would allow you to sort of customize a little bit your abilities to a certain extent. But you had that one school, like you said, and that was your core power base, and then you could just advance it as you went along in the games with unlocks and power-ups, basically. So that was the idea.
So yes, it was nicely scalable to the future, like Metroidvania RPG game.
Yeah.
So you know one school, and now you've been introduced to another clans and other vampires, and there is more things to do. We were intentionally trying to stay away from any familiar vampire universe, so nor Twilight nor
World of Darkness.
So we invented our own mythology, and it
was pretty cool.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So apparently we are being told to shut up now.
So I hope you enjoyed it,
Yeah.
and as much as we enjoyed creating and thinking about it and doing prototypes and pitching it, it was a good thing. We still have posters hanging around the company and good memories, and maybe one day we will just unshelve it and put it to use.
Sorry, are you still pursuing this project with publishers?
I bet you want to now.
Are we still pursuing the project with publishers?
Not at the moment, but if you're a publisher and you
Exactly. Just call us. We're here. So I think we're giving over to Schmitty and Sarah and Emily. Yeah. So thank you for listening, and we will see you later for another discussion.
Don't you want to sit there?
Yes.
We have an interview first and then we hear questions.
Yeah, we're doing the interview part now as in the live shows before, so maybe you're wondering why are those two sitting here, because you already know them.
Plot twist, we're being interviewed.
Yeah, because we realized we never introduced properly Schmitty and Emily, and basically you should know them, so for the first show this year we're going to do that. So please tell us, who are you, where are you from, what you're doing here?
Me first? Okay. I'm Emily. My official title is Associate Producer here at BFG, and I'm from Canada. That's where I'm from. Actually, Vancouver, actually. Who's playing Anaheim today in the first game of the season, so that's what I'm excited about.
Somebody commented on that already.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Yeah, really the Canucks. Okay? Deal with it.
Yeah, I'm Schmitty. I'm a level designer and audio designer here at Black Forest Games, and the vision keeper for level design for Project Diana. And I'm crazy. See?
Only a little bit.
And I don't know what I'm crazy about right now. It's just sitting here, just smiling.
Did I tell people what I actually did, or did I just say my title?
You just said your title.
Oh, okay. What do I do? Okay, most of you, actually, any of you people who have ever sent us an email in any way have probably gotten an email from me. That's what I do mostly. I am a community manager, a Kickstarter community manager. So I answer all your emails, and I packaged all your shipments myself with Mark and Sarah, this Sarah. And sent them out.
So happy to do that. Excited about it.
And I made the spreadsheets and keep you guys' addresses and everything all in a neat little spreadsheet, so I know where everybody lives and I know all of your email addresses.
She has this crazy world domination map going on.
Cute.
Oh, yeah.
So aside from that, I control the forums and stuff. I do mainly community management type stuff. All the Facebook updates and Twitter updates, it's mostly me, and if it's in German, it's Misha, who works out of Munich. So he's not here. But that's what I mostly do. And I'll probably, if we do Ravensdale within the next year, be running that Kickstarter as well instead of David, so that his head does not explode.
And this will be first instead, so please look at her happy face.
I'm going to make you package all the packages with me again, Sarah, so don't get too excited about that. Anyway, continue.
Continue, yeah, sorry. What question is, how did you come to be what you are doing now? Where did you study? Whatever, you know my question.
How did we get to where we are?
This is what I'm
how did I become an associate producer here? Well, I finished school about almost a year ago.
So what did you study?
I went to the Art Institute of Vancouver for video game art and design. After I wanted to do film, and then I went to check out the film school, and I didn't like it because everybody there was really stuck up and like snobbish, and so I decided I'd go to video game school instead to be a video game designer. But while I was there, we had this group project that we did for the end of the year. It's called GPW, which is like a simulated work environment for game production, and I was the producer on that project, and I really, really loved it, and I really loved organizing the team and making all those spreadsheets, and which nobody else liked to do, so I figured it must be a passion of mine. And our project went to the indie section of E3 that year, so we were really proud of that. And then then my husband started working here in Germany, and I stayed in Canada to finish school. he said, you should come up here and do an internship for 3 months. And I said, sweet. So I came up and did an internship with Vladimir for 3 months as his assistant, and they really liked me. Then they offered me a job here, since I had ran an online community before for a small game team, and I'm still here, so I must be doing a pretty good job. You're too far away, I can't punch you.
Okay, that's the reason why I'm sitting here. See, the beef wall or something. Yeah. I studied at a game school in Berlin, game design. Studied for half a year art afterwards, but we were forced to stop this. Then I applied here. When it still was called Spellbound, I was hired 5 years ago. Was starting first as a game tester, then ranked up to audio manager, and later became level designer. And now I'm doing pretty much a bit of everything of these past employments, depending what's needed.
So, what do you like about working at BFG?
It's so fucking green. Everybody say that.
If you ever want to make a VFX spot with some like cool video effects, we've got a whole bunch of green screen just laying around the office.
This would be awesome. We could do everything with that.
I know.
Imagine the possibilities.
Just get a mocap suit.
No.
You know we have to do Star Wars, you know that, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Star Wars done right.
What was the question again?
What do we like about working here? I like that it's so casual here. Everybody's when you're working here, it's like you're just hanging out with your friends. Hanging out.
Exactly.
I like it. Super chill. You can send hilarious messages back and forth to each other. We have a little Skype chat that goes on here.
Please be
We all
totally
chat about it.
serious.
Right. We're all business. All business at BFG. No, it's just a really relaxed environment. It's not, you don't have to like punch in and punch out, and there's no crazy managers breathing down your neck. I mean, we only have one, which is Vladimir. But it's really chill, really relaxed, really. I think being in a smaller team, we all have a lot more creative input and have a say in the projects that we do and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Okay, you said nearly everything about
I'm sorry.
Let me just add geeks, games, and greatness.
And role-playing. Dum dum dum.
Yeah, don't forget role-playing. We have a little ex-D&D now Serenity role-playing group here. It's awesome. I guess that wasn't covering the questions, right?
One last question. What games do you like? Since we are getting developers, what do you play? What do you like? What do you do in your free time? Except for role-playing, obviously.
Okay. Well, I'm a more casual player, so I really like adventure RPGs or adventure games, not strict RPGs. I find them too heavy for me. I don't like to think when I play games. I just like to go on an adventure and like pretend to be a knight or a pirate or whatever. So, what? Oh, what?
What kind of games would you personally like to create if you have all the time in the world?
Cool. We will get to that once we answer our questions from Sarah. That would be good. What was I talking about? Games that I like. Okay, my favorite game is the first Fable. That was a perfect embodiment of what I enjoy in games. But I always really love text-based RPG and forum RPGs and things like that. Those are what got me into games in the first place. So those are my favorite.
My favorite games. I think. Yeah, that as well. Mass Effect is. I think one of my most favorite game series is on the last year, and it's from BioWare. So awesome per se. What I'm really eager to play 2013 is definitely the Bioshock Infinite. I'm a Bioshock 2 fan. Played these games a lot.
Bioshock.
Especially Bioshock 2. I really like what they do with storytelling. It's really amazing. When it comes to favorite games, probably I should talk about what I don't like. The list is relatively shorter. When it comes to my absolutely favorite game of all times, I don't know if you've ever heard of it or played it. Mega Man X for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Original title was Rockman X, released in Japan 1992, 1993. This is that game which made me go when I was small, like, what the fuck, it's so awesome! Yeah, so this has always a special place in my heart. Despite that, I really now like every type of game, except for survival horror games. They really don't get to me. You know?
Cool.
One more question. Best Mass Effect ending: A. Original, B. Extended cut, C. Happy ending patch.
Here it comes.
B.
I really can't tell actually. I would like to have my own ending in my head, you know. That's just perfect.
The thing is, I really don't. So I don't really want to have the happy ending because I laughed about Mass Effect that I was sitting in front of my PC and crying my ass off after the ending. So with a happy end, maybe I wouldn't have that.
That's true. It was really emotional, engaging after.
Yes. Don't spoil it. We have people who haven't played it yet.
Oh no problem. I won't spoil anything.
I'll just wait.
Let's say the first ending was, for me, a bit devastating when it came out. But after seeing the new one, that was
A bit. He was raging like hell. Come on.
yeah, right.
Please be honest.
Okay, yeah, I was fucking mad.
Should we go to questions?
Yes, we should go to questions.
We have one question from the chat first that we can all answer, I guess, because we're here. Is if we could make any game we wanted to here and had all the resources to do so, what would it be?
It would be a Fred Epic Firefly RPG.
I agree on that one.
For me, I guess it doesn't really matter too much for me. I think it'd be cool to have a larger game that would take maybe like I think like Ravensdale or the other one that I don't know if we're allowed to talk about.
Yeah, something a little bit more epic magnitude.
Something larger that like takes over a year or two to create, with lots of community interaction and lots of stuff to put out, lots of stuff to show you guys, lots of just something bigger and like more grand scale that we can put out. And I'd love to be there from like beginning to end instead of just like dropping in on Gianna right at the end like I did. So.
Well, same as Bruce said.
So more, I'll leave you to your questions.
Yeah, of course.
I'm gonna take over the broadcast, so see you guys later.
I can go too, right?
Yes, you can go first.
So once again, you're leaving me alone, right in front of the camera. Okay. Hey, Nico, what's going on? So I'm not entirely alone here.
That doesn't.
Oh, wonderful. So you will comment on what I'm saying.
Yes, I will comment.
Pretty awesome. So first question I have on my list, probably taken from the forums, from Facebook and from Twitter, is will there be Steam Workshop support for Gianna Sisters soon? Answer is, one I've given fairly often is we don't have the time and the resources to do a proper integration for that. If we had it, we would totally go for that, or come up with our own level editor, but we don't have the budget for that yet. Maybe in the far future, when we are all filthy rich, probably we'll do that.
Maybe that's one of the projects, what we want to do when we have too much money in our hands.
Ah, this is why we built the secret bunker below. Ah, wonderful. Yeah, next questions. What is the situation of my Kickstarter figurine reward? So, I guess it was already told you by Anne in the beginning. The figurines are produced in China, so it would take about 3 to 6 months longer than the usual package of rewards. So just be patient, it will arrive with you. When it has not arrived after 6 months, just write Emily a mail. So mail BF Jam or write her a PM.
Backers at bfgames.biz, always, for
Backers
everything.
at bfgames.biz.
For everything.
Okay, you heard the gal.
Focus communication.
Husband, yeah, right. So, next is how do you decide which game ideas are getting made? That's a good one. So actually, what I really like at being here at BFG is that you can simply go to the responsible people, which are the creative heads of the company, and can just throw ideas at them. So it's basically just talking to the guys and saying, hey, I have this brilliant idea for that game. Let's do this. This is really cool. And the generals then just have to talk with you and say, oh, that's really awesome, or nah, better not. And as I say, it's really awesome. Then we skip all kinds of bureaucracy. There's entirely no bureaucracy here, right? Yeah, it's get made. It's pretty awesome, actually.
Well, you forgot that all-important step of funding.
Yeah, right.
So then I mean, yes, Trini is absolutely right, and BFG is awesome in that, and that you can bring in your own ideas and discuss them and champion them, and then say, hey, let's make this, and then, yes, the project will get made.
Then there's a producer.
We have the funding for it, and that's...
And saying something like, there is no time and no money. Yeah, exactly like that. Okay, let's get to the next question, shall we? What's going on with Ravensdale? Yeah, Ravensdale, good question. Will be definitely our next independent project we will do without publisher, and will be our next appearance on Kickstarter, actually. So if you appear to check Kickstarter more often in the next months, it might be that Ravensdale will get on in there. If we will inform you about that. More details about the game itself we will not release today, but very soon. So stay tuned. So, next questions. How do you deal with working on games that you don't like? In general, it's work, so we just get it done. So, this, in regard if we like it or not, we just do it. It's just about the faces you see when you're doing these projects. So, if you're doing a project like Gianna's like, yes! Yeah! And something like, yes, awesome, and something like, it's pretty awesome. And if you're doing a project you don't really like, it's like...
The advantage is though that when you're making games is that yes, there are obviously games that anyone doesn't like to make, any preferred genre or not preferred genre. But the point is you're still making a game, and you still try to make a fun experience out of it. So in the end, it usually turns out that you find something that's actually fun about what you're creating, and then you can be happy again. This is at least most of the time. There's exceptions sometimes, but...
Yeah, I wanted to hint out on that with you. But most projects we do, which are not our favorite genres, at some point you start liking them. Most of them. Not entirely every game.
Yes.
There are some exceptions. I won't, and not allowed to talk about this. So I will not talk about this anymore.
Excellent.
So questions 6 and 7 on my list has been answered by Vladimir in the beginning. Will Gianna be coming to the PlayStation Network, and will Gianna be available for Wii U? Yes and yes. So right now, working on the X360 version, PlayStation Network version, and the version for the Wii U. And when Vladimir told you that the dev kit for the Wii U looks very alien, that was entirely the truth. It really looks like it was ripped off a NASA computer.
It's weird. It's so weird because the dev kits of the Xbox 360 or the PlayStation.
No, they simply look like pimped consoles.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then along comes the Wii U dev kit, and it's like, what is this?
Really look.
Do I shoot it into space? Or?
Yeah, it looks like someone has ripped it from a Star Wars set and put it into our hands and attached a Wii U remote controller to it.
Plans for Gianna Sisters Twisted Dreams 2.
We will gonna make this game.
Yes.
Nothing scheduled yet, but it is definitely scheduled. And if someone tells me it's not scheduled, I will fight with claws and teeth to get it back on schedule. So
it's pretty much Gianna is our IP.
Yeah,
and
it's our baby.
We want to continue to develop it and make sequels and possibly even more. The point being that obviously we can't do it right away, but especially because if we do it, we want to do it right.
Exactly.
So it'll take a while, but yeah. And on that note, by the way, if you have ideas, suggestions, like just write to us on forums.
We have this neat suggestions, topics in the forums.
Suggestions, and the rumor mill is especially for that. Just get in there and share your ideas. And I have. Okay. Anyway, next question: have you seen Indie Game the movie? Have you?
Indie Game? Oh no. I have to be ashamed. No, I haven't seen that. I would put on my list to watch that. But no, I haven't.
I have to concur with Shmitty. I heard about it and I've seen reviews about it, but I haven't watched it myself. I don't even know why. I think there just wasn't the time.
Mostly it's time issues. I mean, working all day and in the evenings you just sit there and relax.
That's usually how it goes. So are we good, or do we have more questions?
Ask me about the Uber hardcore mode achievement bug.
Oh, it's still not fixed. What's the question there? Let's see.
It'll be fixed in the next patch. That's the answer to that question.
Okay, wonderful. So, targeted at the Uber hardcore mode bug. We fix it in the next patch. There's a relatively large patch coming out combined with the DLC. Soonish, so around March-ish, if I'm not mistaken. Stay tuned. Will happen.
We'll have details on it. Discussion.
Discussion time.
So we will be joined by David Paris.
Yep.
Yes. And
Have a seat in that red one.
okay, isn't Vladimir?
Are we online or
We are online, but it doesn't matter. We're just walking as it goes.
We're just walking around. Let's
Vladimir's too cool for this discussion. So.
Oh, okay.
I feel cooler by the moment.
I lower myself.
Easier to communicate. That's awesome. So,
Okay, so discussion topic for yes.
what's going on there on the chat?
Over there. That's dangerous.
Yeah, I guess so.
So the discussion topic for today that we picked from suggestions from you guys is the Steambox. That was loud. Steambox,
sorry.
if in case somebody didn't hear that. So that's our discussion topic. Steambox, NVIDIA, and Ouya. So discuss. Specifically with Steambox, Ouya, and NVIDIA, which is especially Steambox, obviously, and NVIDIA is more of a PC manufacturer or company, but they're going into the console market space. So what do we think about that?
So it's good. So the basic, so usually when you have a console, you've got the console makers kind of holding you hostage to buy their hardware by having a couple of cool titles that you can only play on that console. And then you have to go, shell out several $100s or euros or your currency of choice to buy this box that then lets you play those couple of games.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when it came to the current generation, I hadn't really the money to afford all three of them, so I was going first for the Wii, then got a bit upset about the lineup of games, and then decided, hey, let's try out the PlayStation 3. And that was like, I want to play Gears of War actually, but well, it's not available here. And here's available God of War, and I want to play it. I really want to play to see how the series ends. And that was a pretty hard decision in the end.
Although it's funny you mentioned Wii, because the Wii is like the one system that actually gives you something that you don't otherwise get. It gives you all this cool interface that is a different capability set as opposed to like an Xbox or a PlayStation, which is largely just you're paying for the game. I mean, I can plug an Xbox controller into my PC.
It's exactly the same. Yeah, the whole console exclusive titles is something that usually kept me from actual console. I mean, I have a console, but my main focus is PC gaming, and one of the reasons is simply that I'm just really annoyed when I look at the title lineup of any console. I'm like, okay, so if I play with this console, I can play these games, but I want to play this game too, then I have to get the other console just for that game, and that's just not really. And I think that the Steambox and the NVIDIA, what do they call it actually? What was it?
Shield.
Shield, yes, Shield, exactly. That those two might actually help in making that a bit more accessible again, and making it so that, I have a game on my PC, but I can play it on my as a console experience. I can play it on my laptop. I can play it on wherever I want to. It's just,
I mean, why don't they do this with movies? I can carry around my disc or data with me and say, okay, I put it in my PlayStation 3, or now I go to my pal, he has this fancy Blu-ray player and I play it there. Why can't I do that for games? This is something I really miss on the market.
So the only problem that I see, well, not the only problem, one of the problems that I see is with the Ouya, which I think is a cool concept in principle, but I found it kind of funny when NVIDIA announced the Shield, and I read and I was like, okay, so they're bringing out a console-style thing with Android as a basis, and then I was thinking, okay, so this is NVIDIA, this is like a multi-billion-dollar corporation, and then they have Ouya, which is a small indie company, basically. Well,
I don't think they count as small.
Well, no, they don't, because they had this huge Kickstarter success, and it worked out for them. And then, but still, if you compare them to NVIDIA, it's like this completely different beast. And I'm kind of wondering if that'll have any impact, or if it'll be beneficial for the system as a whole. So now that NVIDIA is pushing into that space, that Ouya will just have an easier time of actually getting acceptance in the product.
No.
But I don't know. So what are your thoughts to that?
At least the huge Kickstarter success of the Ouya has shown us one thing. There's a great demand for something like that on the market.
That's true.
And when now big corporate entities are jumping on that train, maybe it's time for change or something.
Okay. Any concerns from your side?
Nah, it's all good. The easier it is to get games out to more people, that's just a win.
So are you concerned about the one of the concerns that's raised constantly when you talk about Ouya and Android is the openness? Well, it's actually a plus, it's a bonus, but it's also a concern on the other side. A lot of people are saying it's it'll be even easier to crack games, it'll be easier to pirate.
Was it hard now?
That's what I usually say. From my point of view is if a pirate wants to crack a game, he will crack the game. It happens on PC, it happens on Xbox, it happens on PlayStation. It doesn't matter. There's really no...
We've already proven that we can't be secure in terms of cracking stuff. So I think what you have to do instead is you have to make it very easy to purchase your product legally. You have to make it very simple for someone to be able to say, oh, I want that, and just be able to pay for it right away and get it. And as long as it is convenient to do that and your price isn't insane, then you'll sell a reasonable amount, at least in certain areas of the world. And you're probably never going to get those sales that were in some dodgy, distant location to begin with.
Even if for some miracle reason you could invent the absolute crack-safe game, the people who pirate it will probably not buy it then. All of a sudden,
I think that's true.
Suddenly start shelling out money for it. So
it's unfortunate, but
it's unfortunate, yes. But yeah, there you go. So moving on to more developer talk about it. What are the challenges as a developer with additional platforms, what from Windows to Linux, design choices for different devices, different target audiences, so on and so forth? So this is mostly about. This is actually one of the things why the Steambox I think is awesome because you develop for PC. And
no, you don't though.
No?
Because you still have to deal with the aspect ratios on the television.
There you go.
And there's a number of gotchas. It's like if you are currently Steam Big Picture enabled, it's because you've already dealt with some of these things that are going to get in your way when you want to play it on a television. And so that's why they have this separate set of games listed for that, and not just I can take any game on Steam and play it. Well, you can't. You can only take the games on Steam that are ready.
Okay.
So I expect that the TCRs for if you have to serve more different formats of consoles.
Yeah.
Actually, not quite sure if all of our audience knows what TCRs are. So maybe if you could just explain that real quick.
Boy, I don't remember what the C stands for, but it's the technical requirements for the various consoles. So if you're making a PlayStation game, you have to have, your menus are this size, you have these kind of interfaces. When I plug in a controller, it does something. And they have this giant checklist, and that when your game is ready, you submit that and say, okay, we've done everything, please check. And then they go through and they test you on all these things. If you missed any of them, or you're off by a tiny little bit, they send it back and say, sorry, your game doesn't pass. Fix these 12 things, and then we'll think about it again.
Yeah,
And,
it's hellishly expensive to resubmit this stuff then.
Yeah, and you have to do that for all the big consoles, so it's not like anybody's particularly special case on it. And I assume the big picture stuff was, the same way for that. But the good news is that if you're already doing the requirements for some of these other consoles, the big picture stuff becomes pretty easy, because you've already dealt with the same kind of issues.
You should meet the requirements. By
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, you've got to include, the Steam achievements and these kind of things, but that stuff is not huge amounts of work. So you're not really getting burdened by that, and you've already solved the trickier things for other platforms.
Awesome. So what is, again, more for the viewers, you spoke about submissions for TCR, so is it normal that you pass on the first try, or
Nope.
is it more,
No, definitely not.
or is it more like what is an average submission number that titles of any scale really go through?
So I think the average, and I'm going to get myself in trouble by saying it on the air, is about a month in terms of, you start to finish the submission process. And as a studio, the more times you've done it, the easier it gets, because you already know all the things that you're looking for. And, oh, wait, we've got a set of standard interfaces that we use for our Microsoft submissions and so forth. So really, you do get better at it.
So any other concerns about cross-platform development, especially now that more players are entering the console market space, basically? Anything you see?
I think we have to see how this develops over time and see what are the big players on the console market doing to react on the new trend that is now looming on the horizon. And yeah.
Do we have any idea what the pricing is going to be for the Steam ones? Because I know they showed it at the Consumer Electronics Show. No, they didn't show it.
That's not true. They
That's
showed
not
the
true.
piston.
Exactly, they showed the piston, which is sort of compared.
I think it's funny that people assume that this, that Steam, that Valve, which is really a maker of, a distributor of games and a maker of games and so forth, has this secret massive hardware facility moving somewhere that will throw these next generation consoles into existence. From where exactly? I don't know where those come from. I mean, they've got that little company that makes the piston,
exactly,
which they're doing work with, but that's not a giant console. That's just buying into the idea of that Steam is this great distribution platform, and they would be happy to see more places using that.
So I remember that actually, was it Microsoft? I think, a Microsoft executive was interviewed on the whole Steambox thing, and I read the interview, and he was mentioning that he thinks it's a good thing that Valve is entering this marketplace, but he also cautioned Valve, saying that it's a very, very dangerous thing to go into the console market space specifically because of things that you were just hinting at, basically supply chains, manufacturing chains.
Yeah, it's expensive as hell.
And even, it's not that Valve is poor or anything, but building all that up, that's going to cost them a lot.
Yeah.
And it's a risk, obviously. What do you think? Are they gonna make it? Are they not gonna make it?
I think they have the ambition. So I think I would trust them making it, but it will be a bumpy one.
Price tiers discussed by Valve based on different specs, $99 to $300. Okay, that's interesting.
That's cheap.
Based on different specs, I'd like to know those specs.
Yeah, that would matter.
It's all very vague.
Yeah, well...
I mean, really, don't you need just a small PC with the right adapters and play on your TV, right?
Oh, we're still below the estimates for the new console generation, which is right now, if I have not misread this, between $350 and $450 something.
Yeah.
It's expected to be like that.
There's still then the question if you, I mean, there's going to be different specs as I'm reading here. It's streamlining the PC space sort of, because that's been one of the big weaknesses of PC gaming, is that you have such a huge wide range of hardware. It's been getting better because drivers have been getting streamlined and hardware has been getting to cooperate properly. But it's still not the same as developing for a console where you know, okay, I have this amount of memory, I have this amount of processing power, and that's exactly what it is, and I know what I can do with that. And then for the PC, obviously, it's different. And this is sort of a move to, it's kind of a move to try to streamline the PC space too, but
I think it's more a move to streamline the user experience, right? Because what you want is something where you can sit down in front of your giant TV, which is kind of cool. You got it there. You'd like to be able to use it. You'd like to be able to see your games up on this giant TV. And you need an easier interface as you're moving around on it. It's like, I just pick my game. I don't want to have to worry about installing drivers and setting everything up and handling kind of the maintenance of your system. And I think the consoles are largely pretty good for taking that away, where the console is just this box. You put it down and mostly it works. You know? Okay, not always, but we'll pretend. And I think that's kind of the experience you want. So if they can capture that and then still gives you the better titles from the PC, maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah, I can get on board with that. Sorry?
I agree.
Do you think that it will actually, correction, price tiers are labeled good, better, and best. Best price will be determined by how many customers are willing to pay.
How much? Sorry.
How much customer is willing to pay? That is our 300 for better specs. What?
Okay. Best tier is based on how much the customer is willing to pay for better specs.
Interesting concept.
Okay, so they basically said that if people will give us lots of money to make a really powerful machine, we'll hand you a really powerful machine.
Exactly. Yeah, there we go.
Easy enough.
I guess they even tried to tell us something. He was waving this developer view
That's
sign above his head.
Think like developers.
Think like developers.
I'm not sure we know. I'm not sure.
So, how is it different to develop for different target audiences? So that is again a question that 5 minutes that ties into developing from.
God, we're almost out of time.
No. From console to PC or different target audiences inside the consoles too. So.
Hell, I don't know. That's an evil marketing question, isn't it?
It
As a developer, I don't think about that at all. I go, is this fun? Okay.
No, but do the different devices, obviously, like especially now that we have Steam that is saying it's based on Linux, we have Ouya and Nvidia that are going Android, and then we have the regular consoles that have their own thing. We have different target audiences, and how basically like have we any comment on how we think that the new target audience or the new audiences will be integrated with that? Are they already there? Is it different? Is it a different audience? Is it a totally different audience? Is it a new audience or what? For the Steam box and the new boxes.
It's one of these pants down questions where I don't have an answer for. I'm sorry. I guess I can't answer it in one.
He totally didn't say that.
No.
That's more. I guess it's more a question you have to ask someone from the marketing department. I guess when it comes down to that.
Honestly,
but I guess there's a huge market out there still. The more people we can engage in gaming, the better it is. The better games we can produce.
I was just saying that you got to ask that question when you're deciding what to make, right? to say,
Yeah.
I want to make a game that targets a particular audience, a particular feel. And by the time it gets to us, now it's like you're building this, just do it well. And from a developer standpoint, that's not really, I don't have to worry about it.
So is it in terms of sorry to read it again? Does the console generation when a new console generation arrives, does it change the way you create games?
Only if we stop making our games work on the older stuff. So usually the new console says you have to have some fancier graphics, so assets to support that. You have to use some new technologies that you didn't use before. So you'll have to learn a couple of new things. You'll have to do probably a new set of assets. But then you also have to make all of the old stuff work, because nobody ever wants to give up an audience that they already have. It's like, but what about all these people that have all these really old machines? We should totally support them.
Yeah.
And so you have this ongoing struggle where it's like, how about, can we just cut off these bottom ones, because then I don't have to make it quite as terrible. And that's the struggle you go through with every game.
Yeah. Okay. So in terms of development approach, I think there's very little change really. It's more from my point of view anyway. I mean, as a designer, the rules or the ideas behind creating a game really don't change just because there's a new console generation. Except, of course, if you get things like the Wii U, where you have new user experience devices connected to them. So you have the Wii U pad, or back then the Wii controller, or I don't know, or the Oculus Rift as an example. So these are things, that changes the development in terms of what can I actually do with it and how do I integrate these things in the best way. That's from my. But if it's just a new, like let's say from the Xbox 360 to the Xbox, what is it, 7, 8? 720. Then no, it's really all about the performance and the graphics and so on and so forth. From what I get to see. Any comment? I think we're out of time.
All right. Awkward end moment.
I don't actually. Is anybody saying goodbye, or
You can all say.
So thank you very much for watching. This was the first awesome new live show. For next time, please send us more questions, suggestions for discussion topics. We still have the other suggestions noted down. We'll see which one we'll take next time. Also helpful questions about these discussion topics that you would like to have answered. I mean, Steambox, for example, that was a suggested topic, and then we were like, okay, there's about 1 billion things we could talk about on this thing. Which one is actually the one we want to talk about, because we don't have all time. So please send in questions, please send in suggestions. Follow us, spread the word, and have a nice evening.
Yeah.
Are we good?
Have a nice evening. See ya.
Bye.